Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 12 of season 3 of our F124 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at the Hungaroring. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live towards the end of last week, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We had two races from Silverstone, both going out on last Thursday, but it's safe to say both of them were pretty entertaining. And yeah, the one on this channel as well. We were in the battle for the win. Unfortunately, a few things didn't quite go our way towards the end of the GP, and Fernando Alonso, things really didn't go well for him late on in the afternoon either. It was Lando Norris picking up his first win of the campaign, and if we're following the system we've seen so far this year, Norris is going to win again today, because whenever someone wins a race, they always win two in a row inside this series apparently. It's like buses here in Formula 1. We haven't won a race since Imola, so I'm really hoping we can return to the top of the podium in the next two Grand Prix. We've got a 91 point lead though over Alonso, so I'm not too worried with how things are going right now. We'd be leading the Constructors' Championship still by ourselves, 1 point in it between Ferrari and Aston Martin behind us. But of course, obviously, if you're new, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well to the channel. I want to see how close we can get to 6,000 subs by the end of the year. But yeah, let's head out then to the Hungaroring. I haven't driven this track in ages, it feels like, so hopefully we can get a good result.
It is time for the drivers to dance on the edge. You are never resting, you are never still in qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix right here at the Hungaroring.
Well, on paper then, I'm hoping this circuit should be quite a good one for us. Two of the other really high downforce circuits on the calendar in Imola and Monaco, obviously each of our drives have taken a winner, so hopefully here today we can try and return to the top step of the podium. Of course, all logic clearly dictates that it should be Lando Norris that takes the win, but you know, it's always the case on these games that whenever I notice a pattern that immediately, it becomes kind of broken again. Is the only way I can really word it there. A little bit of a mistake through turn 3, which is not ideal, but let's just try and keep it clean and tidy around the rest of the lap and give ourselves a good banker on the board. As George Russell, he loves this place, a 1 minute 12. Oh yeah, this lap has just felt very, very scrappy, unsure of how much bite the car's got, and just a little bit all over the show. For a dominant campaign so far this season, we haven't actually won that many races. As we make our way out the final corner, a 1:13.4, we certainly won't win a race with that kind of pace. Well, we need to find about 0.8 of a second then on this last-ditch run, and that doesn't include any improvements that the AI might find as well. But honestly, I reckon that pace is in the car. Sergio Perez has done a 1:12.8, so he's only a couple of tenths of a second off George Russell, so I see no reason why we can't be as well then. Nice run down in towards turn 1. Braking at about the 100 meter board there. You've got to be just a little bit careful of the camera on the inside, and then try to open up the DRS as early as you can without risking any wheel spin down through turn 2. Just nice and easy there. Avoid that curb on the inside, and immediately can see just unlocking a little bit more time there as we rise up in towards turn 4. Plenty of curb on the apex there. A Sonoda. Maybe V-Carb are back. Nope, George Russell immediately. We'll take that one away from him. There's Zhou Guanyu goes fastest in the Aston Martin. That'll be a turn out for the books. Of course, had a brilliant qualifying effort here. I think it was back in 2023, where he qualified P5 on the grid. We won't talk about the start of that GP, but I do like to wind Jamie183 up about it all the time there. Is really not unlocking any more pace through the middle sector. Actually losing a little bit of time as the lap has continued on. We need to find over a second, and I just don't think we're going to find it. So we make our way through these final couple of corners there. This is going to be about damage limitation now. It's nice and tidy through that final corner there. 0.4 of a second up. It is only good enough for P10. Well, to end up half a second off the pace there is really not what I wanted this weekend, but Zhou Guanyu, for the first time ever, a Chinese driver is on pole position in Formula 1. That might be almost as cursed as seeing Lance Stroll fastest at the end of a session there. George Russell will line up P2. Last weekend's winner Norris in P3 ahead of Sonoda and Lewis Hamilton. But I mean, even then Alonso down in P11 here, so he's not had a good qualifying session as my closest rival this season. It just seems like nobody can string together that many good races in a row.
Button, Hill, Alonso and Kovalainen, the names of the drivers who had their breakthrough in Budapest, winning their first Grand Prix. We're about 12 miles northeast of the bustling Hungarian capital of Budapest. We have 14 corners that comprise the Hungaroring, and they are all steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been tough around here. It's a technical 2.7-mile track. The last few years in particular have been dramatic. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Zhou Guanyu lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, Mr. Monaco, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, Sainz, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas, Sargent, Hauger, Albon and Teo Pourchaire. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Well, here we are then, lining up on the grid, down in P10, slower than Sergio Perez, but still quicker than Fernando Alonso. I've learned from my mistakes here. The soft compound tyre does not work in race trim. So yeah, we're just going to be running the medium and then over to the hard. I could be tempted to try and go for the alternate strategy, but I'm just worried that making overtakes here is going to be very, very tough. So we're just going to try and stay on a fairly orthodox strategy, not try to risk too much here early on. We've got my other title rival in Charles Leclerc just in front. It is 5 red lights here on the grids. And it's going to be lights out and away we go there. Perez getting away like a scolded cat. So is Daniel Ricciardo, as he will try and get to the inside of us down in towards turn 1. We will find an avenue back down the inside of the Australian there, as that was almost a little bit ragged. Wasn't expecting Piastri and Leclerc to check up as much as they have done. We're 3 wide off the exit of turn 1, so we will send it in towards turn 2 there. And luckily get around the outside of Alonso as well. So Perez, he's getting 2 places off the start. We've held position, which I think we can be fairly happy with there. But you can already see some battling going on. And look at the advantage that Zhou's got. He's already got like a 2-second lead on lap 1 there. That is incredible viewing for Zhou Guanyu. Almost into the back of Oscar Piastri again as we make our way up into the chicane there. But yeah, for Zhou Guanyu at the front of the field, I'm sure there'll be millions of Chinese fans that have stayed up late at night to watch this Grand Prix. They will be absolutely loving seeing that at the front of the order there. Russell and Lando Norris need to go in hot pursuit, but I think they've been too busy kind of battling with each other in the early laps of this Grand Prix. But it would be very, very cool if we saw Zhou Guanyu win a race today. We've already seen Tsunoda win one this season. Could we get another brand new Formula 1 Grand Prix winner? Really just trying to settle in early on to this Grand Prix rhythm, just seeing how quick the AI are going to be. As already it seems like Zhou just under a little bit more pressure from George Russell up the front of the order. Can we try and get a run on Oscar Piastri? Go from a very, very long way back there, but able to get the car slowed down on his inside for that first corner. I mean, it is basically the only place you can go for overtakes today. But I'm happy that I know we can. Well, already then, we're just starting to see some gaps forming up and down the order there, as I don't know whether George Russell has gone for the move on Zhou Guanyu. Yes, he has. So Zhou now going to drop down into P2, I believe, of this GP. They're still going to be battling through those first couple of corners, but Perez as well looks like he's dropping away from, I believe that's Max Verstappen, directly in front of him. So yeah, it's a really, really tough circuit it feels like so far for our car. Not too sure why though. We were so quick at Monaco as a team, but just here both Checo and I seem to be struggling. Yeah, George Russell then, he will not be well liked in Shanghai right now. Oh no, no. Oh, okay. That's still annoying, but it's not the end of the world. We've lost the DRS. No, that's the wrong one, Mark. It's the DRS that's gone offline, so that is going to leave us vulnerable, though, to Oscar Piastri. As Charles Leclerc trying to outlook a move on our teammate Sergio Perez, but yeah, I thought that was a mechanical failure. That would have been much, much worse for us. Still yet to have a mechanical failure this season, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, I'm sure it will happen at some point. Yeah, I'm happy it did it when it did, though. Imagine if we had the DRS wide open. I think we'd basically just have to immediately retire the car. Oh, no, Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri trying to look down the inside. Luckily, we're just able to break that a little bit later, carrying less speed in towards turn 1. But the team need to get this DRS fixed. We need to be able to try and at least keep up with Perez. He and Leclerc dropping away from those cars in front. We're just, yeah, seeing kind of our top 6 group run away. Still George Russell versus Zhou Guanyu, the fight for the lead. But, yeah, just feel like Zhou has enough to keep up. But will he have enough to get back past George? Well, I do wonder if we're ever going to get our DRS again, because otherwise we're in for a pretty depressing afternoon of just being stuck behind our teammate Sergio Perez here, who now has lost the DRS reins to Charles Leclerc as well. So this car is really just not working as effectively as we wanted it to around this venue. Oscar Piastri again. Oh, thought about it and then backed out and then thought about it again down at turn 1. So, yeah, Oscar, I mean, he's just trying to see if he can force an issue, but the team, they need to get on to Checo. Either hurry it up or let me by and then act as a rear gunner for a bit. I cannot hold Oscar back for too long. Either that or the team needs to fix the DRS. I'm sure we won't struggle to get around our teammate. Oh, we're a little bit closer to Checo this time around, but Oscar Piastri is much closer to me. So we'll try and go down the middle then. Oscar Piastri is going to try and follow us by. And Sergio Perez goes from 8th to 10th in one moment there. So not ideal for our teammate. We've got to try and close back in though on Charles Leclerc. Luckily, he is nowhere near the range of Verstappen. Oh, Oscar Piastri as well. He's just got more pace than me at the moment. Even around the rest of the lap, he seems to be pretty comfortable. So Oscar Piastri will say thank you very much. And now into P8 will go the McLaren. So he's having a pretty decent recovery so far. Past both of the 2-2 Motorsport cars in one lap here. But can we try and keep up with him? And when will the team fix this DRS? End of lap 15 then, just trying to work the car so hard to keep up with Oscar Piastri. We're actually struggling with rear tyre temperature now, so team want us to dive into the pit lane at the end of this lap. No idea what's going on in front, because suddenly Oscar Piastri is connected to the back of that train. I think, yeah, one of the Mercedes has ran into problems there, because Lando Norris is up into P2, and Zhou Guanyu is back into the lead then of this GP as we'll try and attack on pit lane entry. Make sure that we get the car slowed down though without risking too much. I'm hoping some of the AI trip over each other down the far end of the pit lane here, so hopefully we can get a bit of free time out of them as well. As into our box we'll go. I'm pretty certain we just ran over one of our rear jackman's legs. Come on, let me go. What are we waiting for? Oh, great, of course. Well, we've rejoined in Alonso, which is not ideal. Not something I expected to be saying today. But yeah, we've actually lost out there in the end. As Alonso and Logan Sargent, Formula One's most experienced driver and one of his least experienced on the grid, battling it out through turn 1. Don't know whether Alonso will have picked up damage from that one. It seemed like a fairly hefty whack. As we will go around the outside of Théo Pourchaire through that first corner. Will we be able to try and get a run on Sargent as well? Oh, we just about kept it between the white lines there. That was quite risky, but it needed to be done. Well, that will explain the slow stop as well, then the team fixed the wing. Yeah, don't care, Mark. Come on, we've got to try and get on with it. Alonso, he's just going to sit behind Hauger. And if Alonso's going to be that patient, well, obviously we're going to try and capitalise on it then as Dennis Hauger. Surely we're going to see him into the pit lane at the end of this lap, but we'll make sure, I believe, we'll still get the DRS. Yes, we will. As we round our way out of that final corner. Come on, let's see if we've got an undercut on at least a couple of cars. Gasly, Carlos Sainz, where are they? So we're ahead of Perez. I think we're going to be wheel to wheel with Ricciardo. So I don't actually think we've really gained in all of that. No, we're down in P9 still. Russell has lost out, though. He's down into 7th. But yeah, Oscar Piastri suddenly 3 seconds up the road. As who is now in the lead of this race? It's Lando Norris. There we go, new fast lap of the day. A bonus point is a bonus point. Could be useful come the end of the year. As Oscar Piastri now moves past George Russell. I think George has got big mechanical problems here. As the former driver of that Mercedes car, Valtteri Bottas. It's our first casualty of the afternoon. Oh, well, Oscar Piastri and I over the last couple of laps have just been trading for that bonus point here, but we've just gone and claimed it once again, because I think Zhou Guanyu might have some small problems as well on that Aston Martin car, because he has dropped back from Lando Norris almost immediately in this GP. And yeah, look at that. He's now behind Max Verstappen in his Red Bull as well. So it really does look like Lando Norris is going to continue the trend we have seen all season. How many different race winners could we end up with? Zhou is definitely struggling right now. You can just see cars are just getting by every single lap. Lewis Hamilton now up into the podium places of the circuit that he has won at a ridiculous amount of times. But yeah, Zhou Guanyu, this is not what he needs late on in the day. And all those Chinese fans that I mentioned at the start that would have stayed up late at night to watch their home hero from P1. Things were looking pretty good early on, but they are starting to fall apart. Charles Leclerc now will get around his outside. We will do the same to George Russell. It's just trying to make up some moves as and where we can there. I mean, look at this. Everybody just following each other. Linus, Stern, or Oscar Piastri willing to get the elbows out. But yeah, George Russell and Zhou Guanyu. Let's not forget, this track is not known for overtakes, and the two cars that started on the front row are down to 5th and 9th respectively there. Logan Sargent's out of the GP. I don't think I'm going to lose sleep over that one. Oh no, there's yellows out through the final couple of corners. This must be where Sargent's parked. Yep, there we are. At that final turn. Oh, bobbling out over the curbing on the exit of that final corner. But there goes Tsunoda now. Down the inside of Zhou Guanyu, and we will try and go down the inside of Oscar Piastri as well there. Zhou again struggling to put the power down off of turn 1. It's the second time I've gone for a big move like that on Oscar today, but yeah, just so really, really sad to see for him, as I will return the favour to what Oscar did to me last lap. I don't know what's wrong with that Aston Martin. I don't think he's got front wing damage or anything like that. Yeah, I think he does actually. On the left-hand side, that Aston Martin has just lost an end fence, if I'm not mistaken, so that would explain the lack of pace, especially through this middle sector. Oh, we've got to go for it. We've got to go for it down the inside of Zhou Guanyu. We won't get time to check whether he has got that damage for certain, but we've got to get there so we can be in the range of Tsunoda through these final couple of corners there. But all that's really done is spread out so many cars in this GP. Please do not hit the inside wall there. As how are we not in the range of Yuki? Did I brake too early through that final corner? Don't tell me Zhou Guanyu's going to be able to get back past me here. No, he's not. But he is closer than I'd like. I really did think early on this weekend that Tsunoda and V-Carb might finally be back. But definitely seems like that car is better than it's recently been. But still far from... Well, I really did think that maybe Tsunoda and V-Carb were back with their decent qualifying effort. They're definitely better than they have been recently. But still not quite back fighting at the front, like I'm sure the Japanese driver and his team wanted there. Verstappen, though, he seems to be having a really good weekend running up in P2. But after a really tough start to the afternoon, we are starting to make some progress. We could still get a podium. Hamilton is right there. Oh no, Yuki, we need to work together, man. We've got to try and make sure that we can close in on those cars in front there as we send it on the brakes down in towards turn 1. Hamilton and Leclerc, of course, Ferrari's IRL lineup next year. But what are they going to be able to do? Are they still going to trip each other over today? Oh, there we go. We're in the DRS. We are in the DRS now, Charles Leclerc. So hopefully that will mean defending from Yuki is a little bit easier. But if you told me early on that we could be in the fight for the podium, I never would have believed you there. Hamilton now might just be about to lose that podium spot to Charles Leclerc. Will he be able to try and hang the car down the inside? No, he can't. And Leclerc will swoop through and up into P3. Admittedly, Verstappen isn't that far up the road either, but we have got to try and get around these two as quickly as we can. Or we've just got to try and make sure that we are as close to Hamilton's gearbox when we make our way out of that final corner if we want to try and get the run back down in towards turn 1 there. It's just that penultimate corner I seem to really, really struggle with, but he will try and attack Charles Leclerc as well. Both of them know that we are not afraid to go for the overtake here, but we're probably a little bit too far back at the moment. As Hamilton, for whatever reason, wasn't using his DRS there. Whoa, down in towards turn 1. We'll get a huge snap of oversteer ourselves as we tried to open up the width of the circuit through that first corner. Hamilton, though, ran the outside in towards turn 2. Leclerc will have the advantage, but he'll very quickly run out of road as Hamilton back through then and up into the final podium place. Can we try and get Leclerc a little bit out of shape? No, we can't there. Don't think we'll be able to do anything up the hill. Oh, come on then, Charles Leclerc, I'm sure, again, will try and get the run on Hamilton back down in towards turn 1. Just 4 laps to go of this Grand Prix. You see the Ferrari, it's just not got enough battery down the inside of Charles. Thank you very much. Oh, again, another huge snap oversteer on the exit of the corner. But surely now Hamilton will be a sitting duck. And from 10th on the grid, we are in the fight for a podium here. What a turnaround this race has been. Come on then, through the final corner, going up now against Lewis Hamilton here. So we try and get the power down. Hang on a minute. The DRS has failed again. What on earth is that about? So we've lost the DRS twice in this GP. I didn't even know that was possible inside this game. And now we're just 3 laps to go then of this Grand Prix. It's going to be 10 times more difficult to make the move on Lewis. How on earth has the DRS failed again? Unless the DRS comes back online now for one final lap here. I'm not sure there's going to be much we can do against Lewis Hamilton. We've actually been under more pressure from Charles Leclerc, but I think he has given up in these final couple of laps there. It's just trying to stay as close to the Mercedes as we can through these final couple of corners, but I just don't see a way in which we get around him. Back down in towards turn 1. How do you get 2 DRS failures in a single GP there? We'll keep trying to use the battery in towards that first corner. Hamilton does brake a little bit early, but not early enough there. And you can just see now, overworking those tyres is not doing us any favours either. And suddenly, this race has been absolutely turned on its head. Right at the end, I thought maybe, just maybe, we could walk away with a podium here, but that has not happened. Very, very disappointed with the... Well, I don't think we can be too upset with the outcome of the afternoon, considering all the issues we've had. To still make 6 places is pretty good going, but yeah, just heartbreaking when you feel like you're going to get something, you know, something tangible for the result, and not to walk away with it there. But through the final couple of corners, we won the first 2 Grand Prix, Tsunoda won the next 2, we won round 5 and 6, then it was Perez's turn, Alonso got 2, and now Lando Norris is going to join the club, 2 wins to his name, back to back. McLaren, I think it's safe to say, are back this year. Verstappen in P2, that is a brilliant drive, given his machinery right now. We come through for P4.
Out of the last corner. As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
There we go then, from P3 on the grid. Lando Norris, just like he did last weekend, takes the victory here at the Hungaroring. Verstappen in P2, 10 seconds behind though, ahead of Lewis Hamilton and myself there. Charles Leclerc, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, and Daniel Ricciardo will round out our top 10. I'm a little bit annoyed. We've re-signed Perez for the rest of the campaign this weekend, and immediately he's got to not scored a single point there, which is pretty disappointing. But poor Zhou Guanyu, from P1 on the grid to limp home in P15. That is a heartbreaking end to his afternoon there. Let's take a look at our championship standings though. We have now got a 100-point buffer over Fernando Alonso as well, though. Charles Leclerc in P3 ahead of Lando Norris, who gets ahead of Tsunoda and Perez, as well as Carlos Sainz with that result. Verstappen now only 2 points back behind his former teammate. Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, Zhou Guanyu there, all with decent points on the board. And actually, yeah, I mean, a lot of people have scored a lot of points so far this season. Constructors-wise, we've still got double the... sorry, we haven't got double the points. We've got an over 100-point buffer ahead of Ferrari, who once again just give themselves a little bit of breathing room from Aston Martin, but both of those teams are going to be under pressure from McLaren very, very soon. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready at Spa-Francorchamps.